When you see me wearing the vote shirt, I'm not running for anything because I'm deaf, and they've sent me to self-destruct with Parkinson's. So I'm cornered in an editorial conclusion, but that suits me just fine because after all, we need an educated public. My father refused to go into politics because he was an educator. While we muse on President Toon's favorites, shooting children in the eye over Jerusalem, a land grab by Kushner and his Nanuchka, we might take a look across the aisle at the hilarious spectacle of Gavin Newsom and Hunter Biden. It's a sad conclusion you can reach that these men are appointed special attorneys for Toon and Hitler Reagan, just as Obama was uploaded as a corporate installation via escalator ride to the top, courtesy Jeff Corporation and the Israeli Occupy, which I was one of those who didn't believe until I saw it plain and simple, exposed in the city of Pittsburgh when they assigned Attica State Prison psychiatrist named Wattenmaker to preside over the torture of a little boy from Bush's fleet in the Navy. And Lady Bush saying, "Read my lips, read my lips." Let them do it. I was in D.C. with Hitler Reagan's attorneys from the Federal Emergency Management Agency at Pitt, namesake for Nasser Adahu. When he claims he was shot, he came out and laughingly waved to me the night before and gave me the brochure from Hollywood. There's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes. And that was sublimely covered up by all the media, CBS, Fox, the Sandbagger Alliance of Lebanon, George Galloway, and they smushed it in a obscene idea of conspiracy to do censorship by making it a penny of Paul McCartney's intellectual property because little Nicola had scribbled John Lennon between the lines. Ain't that cute? What does it lead to not seeing? Not seeing. One thing is the tale of Dan Rather. I'll tell you the tale of Dan Rather and how it ended up on with Dick Gregory on the Dick Cavett show, who missed what there was to see too, or decided to lateral pass in the name of Obama to the specious and malicious and dangerous and toxic Cornel West with Spike Oldley behind the curtain with a dagger, playing poetic justice games for the Arc of Colors and his little Cartier Bay pizza shop. It's Dan Rather who said the Kennedy's head moves violently forward, and they locked up the Zapruder film for 12 long years. So when The Killers came out, starring Reagan, immediately after Kennedy's demise, people marveled at the perversity, perhaps, but they didn't reach an evaluative declaration. And The Killers disappeared off the map long before the Zapruder frame surfaced. So our movie intelligence system still doesn't synchronize Cruel Gun Story, The Killers, and the Zapruder film for their identical components in a mirror operation which originated in UGA studios of Axis, Germany, like Ingrid Bergman, who came on to play Martha Gellhorn, Eleanor Roosevelt's best friend, who wrote to me in distress after Mount Desert Island. She said she sensed a great sense of urgency. Now, compare notes here for a minute. Megan Dietz came laughingly flocking down right after she saw me open the black blood envelope as one of the witnesses that happened, saying, "Urgent, urgent," to make a mockery of the queer debate in the name of Ringo Starr. A Great Sense of Urgency by Martha Gellhorn, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Martha Gellhorn, was mocked by Ringo Starr's intelligence system. Ozzy Osbourne went on to promote Israel's obliteration of Gaza. And Robert Fripp was holding his nose and dropping his pick in the name of the idea that virginity proves right because Toya Wilcox got hot and heavy with the lesbian sisters of Tel Aviv about it. I was remorseful about my letter, and that proved guilt in their minds. I wrote a letter protesting their incitement to rape, which I refused. That's the condition that this situation was in. When I testified against Leon Botstein, for example, who was involved with Mount Desert Island. And that was 40 or 50 years ago. And it's all been denied ever since by these perverts, working with Ringo Starr and Penis Gabriel and Brian Eno on a copyright claim because little Nicole scribbled John Lennon between the lines in the name of "there's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes." A plot that goes back through the Killers and Cruel Gun story all the way to Fayum. Now, I'm not pointing at Greta there. I should probably be pointing at Cersei. The British Italian futurist system when Mussolini cropped up and Churchill tried to woo him. This theater system has gotten hold of our blood and guts media. They came after me because my grandfather worked at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. My father was a school bus driver in education and retirement. After a career in the Navy and then as a philosopher of education. Senior faculty at Pitt, who was gutted by Netanyahu's alliance. It goes back to Dan Rather saying his head goes violently forwards, the opposite of what he saw. And no mention of comes to the sign and waits, give him 5 seconds, which is in the Killers. Because it's what you would rather believe. It's all indexed. The people who attacked me were named Ronnie Zinski and Casper, just like Ronnie and Casper, and Donald, mysterious Donald, who broke my sister's ribs. And of course, Milakovsky, who had me in D.C. for the show. So I'm the invisible man. And Galen Newsom knows that Todd traces back to Getty in the White Album. What gives? Because so does he. These sleaze bags refuse to admit that people not only have privacy values in home economic systems that are being ransacked by Palantir and Elon Musk, but that clean water is a mandate for the whole world. How does anyone look at our situation? Being taken over. Literally, Wadmaker took me to the incredible two-headed transplant, which has a criminal on a mental retard, saying, now I got to teach this moron how to walk. A loud and clear broadcast idea from Tel Aviv about the so-called United States. How do we look at this situation and see Hunter Biden as some kind of alternative to J.D. Vance or whatever is going to come when the daylight breaks on people, that they voted this monstrous system into operation through their crazy idea that American is, as Martha Gellhorn put it, a self-absorbed island of dummies, or a little island of self-absorbed dummies, no good of which will come from whose ignorance, is what she said. She was featured on the U.S. postage stamp before it was botherized by Toon's mission with Bill Gates out of its one-time legacy of genuine pride of place as a tribute to laws passed. Now they're doing the whole Hitler thing, stamping the images on the front page of the currency and stuff. Ignorance has allowed that to happen. People know what the basic values of liberalism are: education, healthcare, clean water, reform, equitable distribution of income, good neighbor policy, tolerance for people of different theological beliefs. And that's comedy under civil law. Criminal laws is a jurisdiction issue internationally. International law got its start in Muslim scholarship, just as they saved the Greeks from the Dark Ages. Learning is something that can be distributed liberally among recipient intelligent people. But we've been scoured with scalding matter to the brain, like the assassination of our intellectual president, young and healthy and beautiful, in his glorious days of what they called, much to British animosity, Camelot. And we refused to trace what happened. Why Wattenmaker? Because I was a little boy. From Bush's ship in the Navy, and Lady Bush with his read my lips, Glauco Bell, going in Pittsburgh, sang the praises of the CEOs who gave him license to run amok in his run amok contra weird Christianity.